Hey everybody, this is Steve Cook with Premier Guitar, PremierGuitar.com. Today we are playing through a beast. It is the Laney Nexus Studio Live Bass Amplifier. 1000 watts, hybrid, ridiculous. Now Laney has a little bit of a unique history. Laney started off building amplifiers out of necessity. He was broke back in the 60s and started fiddling with things. And played bass behind a couple guys in a band called Band of Joy. He was in a pub band. A couple guys from Band of Joy went off and started Led Zeppelin, which is kind of cool, and so he can say he sort of played bass initially for Led Zeppelin. So, you know, but look it all up. It's pretty cool. But he's been making amps ever since, so I think he found his calling. He did all right. So this brand new thing has so many features on it. We're just going to jump right in. We're going to start here and work this way, and then we got a back panel that's going to take about an hour to go through. You can fast forward if you want, but actually you don't want to do that. So starting over here, we've got our inputs high and low. One is for an active bass, one is for a passive bass. I have an active bass, so we're in the low setting. Right now, I've got this gain dimed. It's dimed now because you can get this great, sweet tube overdriven tone. Now, tube, it's got an ECC 83 inside, which is nice. And so it's got, basically, it's a hybrid, like I said from the intro. So you've got tube warmth, you've got power, it's 500 watts a side, so we've got 1000 watts total going through this Laney stack. Pretty cool. So let's play that real quick. Now, I'm going to leave that overdriven because once we get into the effects portion of it, it's going to sort of open up. Right here is the EQ section. As you see, I've got everything flat. We've got a cool sweepable mid, which is a nice feature. So again, self-explanatory on the EQ. Right here's the volume. We can pull mute, or we can use the foot switch that has been included with this. The tilt section is really interesting because let's say you're on a stage, you can't really hear yourself. Well, happens to us all the time. You don't turn up, you adjust your EQ. And what that does is if you go hard left, it boosts the bass. Hard right, it increases the mids. So, right now we're even. Okay, all of a sudden we're in a reggae band, which is cool. But then, you start getting really, really nasty really quick. And again, you don't want to get in there too much, but let's say you just need a little bit of a boost. Let's say just a little bit of point. They've sort of taken the guesswork out of it for you. So if you can't hear yourself, just go ahead and tilt yourself up or tilt yourself back. That's the reason it's called tilt. So then we've got a touch control. Let's try this touch setting. I'm going to take it off the overdrive, just get back to the clean sound. And so we go from there. So we got it dimed. Sorry. So it's straight up. And again, you can't really hear it. But for me, now the attack is super quick. And not because I'm playing faster. You can hear a little bit of it, but that loosened it up a little bit. So it's an interesting little feature on there. Now, speaking of interesting, let's go up top. And I know you're saying, what's that shape thing over there? We'll talk about that in a second too. But we've got some effects up top that are again controlled by the foot switch. Space, interval, and focus. Now space, when we activate it, throws some reverb on the bass. Pretty cool, so we can turn that on and off. All right, then let's go up to the other side, and I'll turn that back on. Sort of a chorusy. I mean, it's called a delay on here, but it's not really a delay. I mean, technically it's a delay, but it's just a little bit of a chorus. sweetener if you would. Which is nice, and you can control the level of that with this. Again, control on and off only with the foot switch, not the levels. Then we have the interval. And the interval can either be an octave down, or a fifth up. Kind of crazy, but useful nonetheless. So now we've got this focus over here. Well, what the focus does is it adds the mids and highs and makes it more shimmery as you go clockwise. Counterclockwise, it adds some bass. So one way is going to help the fifths, one way is going to help the octave. So we'll activate the fifths. Hear how it deadens it up a little bit. But if we switch this back to the octave, so it's a little bit of a flavor enhancer, if you would, on those effects, sweetens them up a little bit. So let's talk about this shape switch for a second. We've got a 4-position shape switch, which is basically a preset EQ. The first one is flat, the second one is a slight mid scoop, the third one is a more intense mid scoop, and then we have a mid bump on the 4th setting. Now, I'll play something that is just flat EQ, just the bass, and then we'll sort of cycle through and see what it does to the effects and to the overall tone. This is just the Sandberg bass. Now let's hit that first change, which is the slight mid scoop. Now the third, which is a more intense mid scoop. And now the mid bump. Now, again, each bass has a different character, each bass has a different tone, so you've got different things you want to do. So you cycle through and you kind of find your spot. So the shape knob is really cool, not only because you have 4 preset quick fixes, but then you can also manipulate some of the effects. You can make them shimmer, shine a little bit better with the shape. So right now we're flat. I'm going to add some of the delay. And now the shape. It's got a nice, robust, rich tone. It's pretty cool. You know, if you want to just move around, experiment with this because you've got a lot of options. The back panel on the Laney Nexus Studio Live is pretty straightforward. We've got speak-ons right here for your cabs, obviously. We've got the foot switch control input. We've got the tuner input. We've got an effects loop, which has a 10 dB pad on it. Auxiliary in, so if you want to jam along with something, put in 1/8 inch, you know, iPad or iPhone sort of deal, and knock it out right there. Headphones right here, which cancels out everything on the amp, so go ahead and plug in. You can practice, which is cool. Now, if you are running this as a pre for recording, then you switch this to USB, and here's your USB right here, and you can monitor through these headphones here. So that's a really cool feature. Then we have the DI, which is pre, post, and output. And output will send everything to front of house. And those are all your effects and everything. So you can just sort of pick and choose what you want to send with this source switch right here. So what I dig about this amp is that you have a lot going on at your fingertips. You can jump into these effects if you need. If you have a section in your song where you just need an octave pedal for like 4 beats, just hit it and be done. You don't have to buy a bunch of pedals if you don't want. I mean, of course you can, but the amp sounds really great through the DI. It's also a headphone amp, so if you plug in your headphones, you don't need to have the cabinets hooked up. It's a standalone, which is really cool. It also has a USB out, and what you can do is you can go directly into GarageBand or something similar, and you have 2 channels that it records to. The one channel is completely clean, one channel is the affected tone. So if you have effects on there, if it's overdriven or EQ'd, and then so you've got a standalone, and then you've got the one with the effects. Why do you have that? Well, let's say you mess up and you need to doctor it. Well, then you can fix the raw signal, or you can keep the EQ and the affected signal over here, or you also can reamp, and you can run that signal, that clean signal, back through. You can take it out of the back of here and put it back in the front and out of the USB, and so you can reamp, and so you can record it again and sort of doctor it as you go. So another great feature. So you've got a great live amp, you've got a great studio amp, you've got a practice amp, all in one. 1,000 watts paired with these babies, which is the 210 and the 115 from Laney, matching stack. Not very expensive, super portable, and can handle the 1,000 watts that this Nexus is going to throw at it. So you've got a beautiful all-in-one package. This thing can basically run any show that you need. Make sure you check out the written review of this amplifier, the Laney Nexus Studio Live, along with the matching cabinets. Pretty cool stuff. Check it out in the print version, book, sign language, book. Print version of the magazine, which is available just about anywhere magazines are sold. You can also go to PremierGuitar.com, check it out there. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to that. You can see this video again. You can watch other review demos. You can watch rig rundowns. New feature called What's Perry Wearing This Week? I think it's yellow. Make sure you check it out. For Premier Guitar, PremierGuitar.com, this is Steve Cook. Thanks so much.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.